The original world Lucifer watched over went through an apocalypse that destroyed everything. The story that was recorded to retell what had happened during said apocalypse was told through the first-person view of young James, the original younger brother of Kia. Throughout that retelling, he endured a lot of pain for many years until he was killed at the end, being rescued by Kia, who had died very early on in the apocalypse. Whilst you read through James's story, in the background Lucifer had given Kia permission to become an angel. Kia was determined to get strong enough to save his younger brother with his own hands before it was too late. Lucifer only agreed to this because he needed time. There was a catch to Kia saving James too. Everyone who Lucifer had currently collected would be reincarnated as themselves. Unfortunately, James will not be reincarnated. His soul will be the same, but he will be born anew. Ki agreed. While Ki became stronger, Lucifer was working to find the original Akaji Oniji, the main Akimic within the Aki universe. Lucifer had seen that any universe or world which had their own Aki, had no signs of an apocalypse. No red death flags that marked that world doomed. Lucifer has theorized that any version of Aki might do, however, he simulated tests and merging his universe that was flagged for death, would override an Aki copy and would continue down the path to its destruction. This meant Lucifer needed to find the original Akaji and his original world to merge his own with to erase the death flag. That meant he needed time, a lot of it. Hence why he agreed to Ki's demand to save James and why James spent years struggling through a never-ending apocalypse. Now that Ki was strong enough and Lucifer had located the original Akaji's world and James was saved, Lucifer merged their worlds together to create something new. Unfortunately, there was something Lucifer didn't know. Before merging, Akaji's original world was fine. There did exist a thick, invisible wall separating the supernatural from the ordinary. This veil spanned over the globe, running through the 3 different continents of this world. The veil was the strongest and thickest over Akaji's country of origin. The middle continent was where the veil was still rather strong but was thinning out. The continent to the far left of this world was where the veil was the thinnest and weakest, yet it still kept the supernatural world separated. Unfortunately, by merging his own world with Akaji, Lucifer had unintentionally broken the veil. Where it was thinnest, the veil was completely eradicated. Magic became unruly, overgrown, and uncontrollable. Within the middle continent, magic had become commonplace, like nature and the weather. Where the veil was the strongest and thickest, it held strong, but it leaked enough to stir up myths and legends within the people who lived in Akaji's original country. Some people could even connect and use that magic, but it was rare. You were also placed within the care of the church who governed that entire continent if they found out. Before the worlds merged, the only continent inhabited by people was the one where Akaji lived. Now all 3 are inhabited by all sorts of creatures. Aki and the 3 sisters' tranquility, peace and love worked together while Akaji was living in his original home. He decided to travel and is somewhere in the middle continent. The current characters who originate from the middle continent are Bennett, Tori, Alice, June, Bunny, Frisk, Ki, Pierce, Tobias, Peter. The magically overgrown continent is where the other following characters reside: Mana, Alpha, Dawn, Red Rabbit, or they did reside after the merge. They all moved to the middle continent due to the magical overgrowth. Alpha, who is a sentient group of toxic spores, couldn't control his powers or poison. Mana was having difficulty suppressing her brother's poison and helping the residents with the uncontrolled magic. Her own powers were slipping from her control, so they left and migrated to the middle continent. Red Rabbit was an ordinary rabbit until the merge where he was approached by a spirit and entered a pact, becoming Red Rabbit. He decided to leave after a while, but the reasons why are still unknown. The characters who don't entirely belong to any continent are as follows: Lucifer, Shadow Master and Dante. Shadow Master and Dante were not from the original world with Lucifer but lived in Akaji's world before the merge. These 2 are like supernatural police. They work to keep the veil healthy and protected and help the supernatural creatures live in peace. They didn't have the power to stop the merge, so after it happened they became more involved within the stories of the others. Since their work quadrupled in size, now the veil was shattered. Lucifer has yet to get in contact with Shadow Master or Dante, however he's been in contact with Akaji and Tori. I believe merging the worlds to save the people he cared about took a lot of power. He's still one of the most powerful, but he's depleted. He can't help repair the veil just yet, so Luce is letting Shadow Master and Dante work on handling the continent with the out-of-control magic for the time being. Red Rabbit seems to have similar goals of keeping the peace, like Shadow Master and Dante. So he helps around the middle continent. Since magic is as common as nature, there are still magical disasters just like nature. It's not fully under the people's control but can be utilized. And that's where we start the main story of our new world. I hope you continue to follow along with me as this new world story develops and takes root.